Hello, people. It's another episode of the Soul of Afro Pop Culture Shortcast. And my name is Dami. I am here with
Kola.
Our topic for today is it right to talk about your family on social media? And this is a very direct question. So I am going to ask you, Kola, now that what do you think about the question?
Well, this question is not a very simple question, and the answer cannot exactly be a simple one. I feel like it is complex and multifaceted, because some situations can happen that may make a person feel like they don't have any other person to talk to. So they think the only way they can deal with it is to bring it online. And some people just have that habit of always sharing everything with the internet. You get? But back to the question of whether it is right or wrong, it all depends on the context. You get? In some particular context, it will make sense to not bring it to not bring it to the internet. And in some particular context, it actually, like, let's say it is the only other option. Do you understand? For example, if you are dealing with, let's say, narcissistic family, whereby you have the narcissistic parents, you have the enabler, like let's say the father is manipulative and abusive, and you have the mother that is more of an enabler. She cannot really stand up to the husband, and if you go and tell her about your problems, she goes and tells her husband, who will now come back and beat you and insult you and all that. Or you are with a guardian, or you are with an abusive partner. Do you get? And it has gotten to the point whereby you feel as if nobody is listening to you anymore. It can drive you to the point of saying that, okay, you know what? I think to save my life, it only makes sense to share it with the world. You get? But there's always going to be consequence for sharing information with the world, because once you do that, you would have broken the trust of your family members that you decided to call out on the internet, and only God knows how far their retaliation would be. But so that's my answer to it. It's all about context and situation.
I have shared some experiences with my family members on social media, but not in a direct call out way. It was in comment sections of some blogs online on Instagram that I shared my experience. Just, me being vulnerable and sharing something that is related to the posts I saw. So that's the way I just share my experience, because for some of us, we don't really have a lot of friends. We don't have friends that we can share things with and bare our minds to, open up to, just like that. So there's another option, which is to journal and write it in a diary. But even apart from that, you write it down, but you sometimes also want to share it face to face with someone, or just talk to another human being, because writing it down in your journal is different from talking to another human being. So I feel like people think if they come on social media, it's the equivalent of talking to another, because human beings are on social media. So when you're coming on social media with it, you're sharing it to other human beings who can give advice, who can empathize with you, who can share something that can make you feel comforted. So that's what I think, because not everybody can afford therapy, and therapy is quite expensive. So that's a way for people to just deal with their issues.
Well, you said something about people coming to the internet, sharing about their family issues, and people supporting them and giving them advice and all that. But that's the thing. The internet is a double-edged sword. when you come out and say your family issue on the internet, many people will just use your problem as content, or as, trolls will just come and say, I'm not we no be your family member. Why they come they share your family issue for here? You get, some people will genuinely help, especially if they feel as if they understand where you're coming from or they have experienced something similar. But there's some other people that will just be like, they will just be trolling you, and depending on the situation and the type of context. Let's say, for example, now, I saw this video online today about this lady that was calling out her mother-in-law. That her mother-in-law gave pineapple to her 2-month-old baby, and she told her mother-in-law that what her mother-in-law is doing is not correct. So the mother-in-law got angry and decided to leave her and her husband's house because she said they were having a lot of issues. So she now said that the lady now went on the internet, as in went to her family members and was complaining and talking negatively about the girl. So the girl now decided to now come to the internet and share about what happened. So in the comment section, people are now like, yes, maybe what your in-law did was too much, but you coming to the internet to come and share it with us is too much too. And me personally, I agree, because in that particular context, it would have made sense to talk to your family, talk to your husband and all of that. The way she was sounding, she sounded like, I don't know, I don't think the husband would like that kind of thing. That's what I just feel. Yeah, but I feel like for her to have come on the internet is two things. Either she feels like nobody's listening to her, or she feels like she just wants, maybe she's the type of person that just likes sharing with the world. Some people are just like that. That like Twitter users that just always, instead of talking to somebody, they just share. They can even be with people in the room, but they will share their opinion with the world. Okay, so that's what, and the comment section was just filled with so many people calling out that what you are doing is too much, that this will create more problem, because you're directly calling out her mother-in-law. Do you understand? On the internet. Okay, so that one alone self, she will pay for it, like I said before. Okay, when you call out your family members on the internet, you will pay for it back on. You get, depending on the power dynamics between you and the people in your family. You get, so that is a context where coming to the internet to come and talk about your family can be problematic.
I understand. And that's calling out your family on social media, coming to social media to call out your family in a strong and direct way can cause problems, can have certain consequences. But when it is just talking through blogs or dropping something in the comment section so that people can see it, but it's not a direct call out.
Yes, there's a difference.
That one is, yes, a bit more subtle and mild.
When you talk about it depends on if your family members are on the internet. If your family members are not on the internet, you are sure that you can talk about them until the day God catch you. All of a sudden, somebody just come on the internet and go and say, see what doing is saying. But for some people, let's say they are lucky. But what about some other people that have a lot of family members, or at least a couple of family members on the internet? That's how one day they will just be scrolling and they will just see, is it not my sister? Is it not my cousin? Is it not? They're talking about my mother, they're talking about my auntie. Do you understand? And that's how they just go and show the person that they're calling out, and it will be very difficult to mend that kind of relationship, because they will feel like you are like, what is the point? You get. Now, continuing on what I just said about what is the point, coming on the internet to come and call out family members needs to have a point. There has to be a reason why. You get. Ultimately, you have to have a reason why. Sometimes, let's say for example, a person is in a abusive relationship, so calling them out on the internet can help you to protect yourself, so that in case anything happens in the future, there will be evidence. God forbid it ever gets to that point. just a few days ago, in a different story, I saw this girl that her boyfriend killed her and killed himself. But apparently, the a neighbor, the sister, had been calling the boyfriend out for a while, but nothing was done until eventually he ended up killing the girl and killing himself. Okay, so that can be necessary, especially when you are in a abusive environment. So calling them out, you can still pay for it too, because ultimately when you do that kind of thing, depending on the power dynamics, they might end up taking your phone or making your life even more difficult. But at least they will be aware that if anything happens, people know that. Okay, but it all depends on the people you are calling out, their level of rationale and sensibility. You can tell some people can find out that they have been called out on the internet, and it will only trigger them because they don't know the impact of how powerful the internet can affect their life if everything busts. You understand? While some will be aware that I'm on Twitter, Instagram, I better be careful. But they'll be setting for you, but they would be aware.
I know people that I'm friends on Facebook with. I don't know them in person. I've never met them before, but I know their life story because they've shared it on their page on Facebook. I know their life story, and whenever they share it, they say that they're using it to heal. They're using it as a form of public diary to heal from their experience. I know a girl who, she's my age mate, and she experienced trauma as a child growing up with her mother. Her mother abused her, so she's estranged from her mother now, and on her Facebook page she has written about her experience and how much her mother abused her and all of that. So I think that way she's letting out all the unresolved issues that she has, because you don't know that a lot of people don't have people they can share things like this with. If you have someone that you can talk to about this, your unresolved issues, you are lucky. Not many people have that. A lot of people are just going through life, bottling everything up, not being able to talk about their problems and their unresolved issues.
Well, this whole coming to the internet to come and talk about your family members is a double-edged sword, as I said before, because personally, I'm an introverted person, so I usually will not, my thoughts are inside my brain. You get? It's only people that know what's going on in my brain. I can't always just come on the internet and just share all my opinions and all my thoughts. Some people can do it, but I'm not one of those type of people. I tweet every now and then. I give out my opinions like I'm doing right now, through different mediums. But to just come out and talk about my family members is very tricky, because me myself, I'm a human being. One day, I would, somebody can call me out too, because the same way you are calling out somebody, you yourself, you are a human being, and you can act in ways that will be blind to you, but to other people, they will see it as you being abusive or controlling or all of that. You get? Imagine, like in the case of Emeka Eke calling out his child, calling out his father. You get? Nigerians didn't take that shit well. Like, it didn't matter the fact that he said it, that his father was abusive. There's even videos of audio of when the man was saying that you are dead to me, all kinds of mean things, and only for him to say the guy, he was talking about his father, and he said that guy is dead to me. I don't want to be like that guy.
This guy,
something like that.
Yeah.
And everything he said was just invalid. Nigerians were just coming at him and say, you are ungrateful, you are entitled, you will suffer this, that. It didn't matter anymore. Just the act of calling out his parents, that was the end. Nobody supported. I won't say nobody. Many people supported him, but the voice of disdain was way higher than the voice of support.
And that's the consequence. That's one of the consequences, yes, of coming on social media to talk about your family. I understand that answering that question in that case is not a direct and simple one. It depends on the context.
Exactly.
We can't really say that don't call out or don't talk about your family on social media, and we can't say call them out or talk about them. You understand? It depends on
The
context involved and the goal for
why you are doing it.
why you're doing it.
Yes. If you're just doing it to just, you feel like you don't have anybody to talk about it with, I don't think that's a very good strategy, because there are other strategies for dealing with releasing of unresolved issues. There's journaling, there's meditation, there's talking to friends. I heard what you said about not having friends to talk to sometimes.
Yeah.
That is very common for many people. But there's still journaling, there's still meditate, there's still what do you call it, therapy. Although that's expensive, but the therapy of coming on the internet to talk about your family is a two-edged sword, Abi.
Yeah, double-edged sword.
Double-edged sword. You guys, a double-edged sword. So yes, people might give you support and empathize with you, but at the same time, some other people will not agree with you, and there's now the added risk of your family members actually seeing it and how they will take what you said.
Yeah, that is why people use the anonymous model to talk about their family on social media. Hide my identity. So people use that anonymous style to talk about it.
Then it's not really the impact is like 50% or like it will reduce heavily. But when it's like your face is there, your picture is there, your name is there, and you're calling out your family members, that's another thing entirely. Do you understand?
I think that hide my identity style is better.
It depends on the context. It depends on the context and the goal. Because sometimes it's necessary for you to put your picture, your name, everything, so that in case anything, because if it's like in an abusive relationship, by presenting yourself out there, you can use that one to protect yourself, or at least create a kind of documentation of complaints to the public. So if anything happen, like what happened with Mohbad, or I won't say actually he did that. Did he really do it? Kind of, no, he didn't really do it. Although later, there was this audio of him complaining about, talking about his girlfriend.
That he didn't release it himself.
To the internet, yes.
It leaked after he died.
It was after he died, yeah. So, but there are so many cases of people coming to the, like Fina now. There was a video of her calling out, not really calling her, but she was talking about her family members that.
Yes, on her podcast.
Yes, that as she has become rich, many of them are always calling to ask for money, and many of them were not good to her or nice to her when she was growing up, and all of that. She even talked about her father. Remember that time my father was trying to get money from her?
Yes, I remember.
So all that, obviously, father is going to be somewhere feeling resentful and angry and be sitting with anger and just boiling, and it will definitely create a problem. It will definitely create problems. Although there would have been problems, that's why she came to the internet, but it will only make things worse.
So we're not saying that don't talk about your family on social media, and we're not saying talk about your family on social media. This video or this particular episode can just be seen as breaking down the concept or the idea of talking about your family on social media, to see from both angles which one is better.
It's not really about better or worse. It's just understanding that there's possible consequence in this particular action.
Yes, there are possible consequences.
Yes, there are definitely.
So being aware of them before you do it is important, so that when the consequences happen, you will be prepared.
Ready.
Yes, and say, okay, yes, I knew this was going to happen.
Exactly.
So I think that we can close this particular episode on this note. We hope that you enjoyed our shortcast. We keep it short for you as always. That's why it's called a shortcast, not a full-length podcast, a short podcast, essentially. Thank you guys for listening. As always, we want you to follow us on all our social media platforms at Soap Shortcast. You can also follow our primary page at Soul of Afropop Culture. We'll see you in our next episode. Bye for now.
Bye.